Hey YouTube, today we're positioning some buildings in South Street. Hey everyone and welcome to Brick Talk TV. In today's episode we're returning back to Bricktown for our rebuild series. If you missed any of the previous episodes then do check the playlist out in the top right. And if you enjoyed this video do hit that like button so more people get to see this video. And hit that subscribe button with the bell notification turned on to be kept up to date with other Bricktown rebuild episodes. This is how we left Bricktown at the end of our last episode, having just added the parking attendant street story. We still have some space left for more buildings to add to Bricktown, so in today's episode we're going to be turning our attention to the bottom end of our town and to South Street. As a reminder, South Street is down in this area of Bricktown and up until now has had no buildings positioned within it. But as you saw in our last street story episode, of which I'll stick a link in the top right here so you can check that out, there's still plenty of space to add some more buildings. So this is currently how South Street looks. You can see we have a large space here to fill with buildings, and in our episode today we're just going to be initially placing our buildings into place, as I suspect that we'll need to do some modifications to the foundations here to ensure our buildings fit properly. As always, let's first take a look at the buildings that we're going to be adding to this part of the town. First up is somewhat of a white whale for some collectors, the Ghostbusters Firehouse. This set was originally released in 2016 and consists of 4,634 pieces. The set also comes complete with 9 minifigures and 3 ghosts, including Slimer of course, are added to the collection. It retailed for £285, but now could set you back anywhere between £400 and £600, having retired in 2018. The set sits on a 32x32 base plate as well as a 16x32 base plate combined, so we have a 32 stud wide set by 48 studs long. This set also opens up, as you can see here, to show more detail on the interior of the firehouse. There is some really great detail here added, also including a cool fireman's pole and a detailed kitchen, as well as areas for the Ghostbusters to sleep. The set didn't include an Ecto-1 when it was first released, but luckily Ecto-1 was released as a LEGO Ideas set, so we'll be adding that to the firehouse, and we'll be having it coming just out of the main doors. This set is made up of 508 pieces and was released back in 2014 before retiring just before the firehouse in 2016. Originally it cost £44.99, but in today's aftermarket it can fetch around £95. This one here I created by piecing it out using BrickLink and building it via the instructions available on lego.com. Our second building is the Daily Bugle. This high-rise tower should fit nicely in this space and will sit next to the firehouse. This set is still available at the time of recording, having been released in June 2021. It consists of 3,772 pieces and has a whopping 25 minifigures, of which 19 are unique to this set. It retails for £299.99, and I did a full in-depth review of this set before, so I'll put a link in the top right, and if you're interested you can take a closer look at the details of this set. Our final set that we're placing in South Street today is Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum set. This set has recently been released in August 2022, and it consists of 2,708 pieces, and also features 9 minifigures, 8 which are unique for this set. It retails for £214.99, but I've seen it as low as £170 if you shop about online. This is going to be positioned next to the Daily Bugle, and once we have all of these placed, there will still probably be a gap behind this building at the back behind the firehouse. But for now, let's head over to Bricktown and start placing these buildings where we want them to be positioned. that's the buildings roughly placed for now, and we do have some issues to overcome. Here between the Sanctum and the Daily Bugle you can see that the sets sag downwards. This is because we don't have any support grids in the middle holding these buildings up, so we're going to need to adapt our foundational grids in order for the modulars to sit properly, and we'll do that in a future episode. Secondly, we have to adapt the curbs around the Ghostbusters Firehouse. The gap for the building is exactly 32 studs wide, and so our 2x8 plates and other variants that create the curb are taking up too much room, so we need to swap all of these curb plates out for 1x8 plates instead, which will allow us to slot the firehouse into place and then pave around it accordingly to attach it to the rest of the city. So in our next episode, we'll make all the necessary changes in order to fit the firehouse into its final position. So at the end of today's episode, here is Bricktown as we see it today. We'll leave it with the newly positioned buildings in South Street, and the buildings certainly are taking shape. And you can join me in our next episode when we'll be revisiting South Street, and we'll tidy up the positioning and we'll land on some final positioning for these buildings. And we'll also have to think about creating some alleyways to fit in some of the gaps that we'll have around these buildings. As always, if you enjoyed this video then do hit that like button so other people get to see the video, and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification turned on so you'll be notified about our amendments to these buildings and to South Street. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.